Hello, and welcome. Welcome to part two of Hustle and Grind versus Flow. And today we're going to be talking about what I would say is a powerful alternative to hustle and grind. My name is Sherry Moyce. I am your intuitive business alchemist, and part of what I help spiritually minded entrepreneurs do is to shape shift their business in a way that's really going to support them in creating the results they desire while still being thriving themselves and feeling nourished and supported. So, part of that is having structures and systems in place that really honor our need to be in flow versus to hustle and grind. And so, today, as we talked about in our first part of the series here, of how hustle and grind really is actually not accomplishing what we would hope it would. We think it's going to create more success, but it's really temporary. It can it can actually diminish our physical and mental health, cause things like adrenal fatigue. Personally, been there, done that, tried all that. And your most precious resource as an entrepreneur is time. Once it's gone, you don't get it back. So, how can you find a way to stay out of the hustle and grind, step away from those unsustainable habits that can lead to burnout, of constantly being in go, do, which is an unsustainable habit. So, I want to share with you a different type of flow, a different type of productivity that actually was in place long before current industrial culture came into being. There are, as we might want to say, there's no gold stars or trophies for rest. We're, getting gold stars for the work we do in the world. And what I think is so important is that we acknowledge that there needs to be a balance. And the earth, the stars, astrology shows us that that is, in fact, happening naturally around us. And if we can plug into it, we can really take things to the next level. If we continue to run our lives and business under an industrial model where we are constantly in the doing and we're not meeting our own basic needs and ignoring them, eventually we are going to experience really significant periods of burnout, fatigue, adrenal fatigue, and that's not something we want to be focused on. So, what is the option? What is the other option? The other option is to work alongside the natural rhythms of the cycles that already exist. And there is in that this beautiful, predictable ebb and flow. The highs may not be as highs, the lows may not be as lows, but that's really beneficial to us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We no longer then have to have businesses and lives we have to recover from. Instead, we can create sustainable cycles where we can really predict and anticipate our energy and work with the resources we have and not go into energetic debt because we can't push anymore. I see it so often where people need to take a break, where they feel they've pushed so much, they push their way through a launch, and then they're exhausted. And now you've launched, you've invited all these people into your program, and you don't have the energy to serve them. It's not in anyone's best interest for that to be the case. So if we look at, I'm going to share my screen here and look at one of the most natural rhythms out there that we all experience, which are the seasons. And obviously, some of us experience them more than others, depending on where you live. But irregardless, we are constantly in this flow of our life as we move through the seasons. And the astrological new year begins here with the spring equinox when the sun moves into Aries. And it really makes a lot of sense. We are springing forward. This is where we start to aspire to things. We are instinctual. We're ready to move forward. There is more light. There is more sunshine. There is this feeling of readiness. This is, if you are planting a garden, this would be where you would start to plant your seeds. And as we move through spring, we start building energy and we get into summer. This is where we can really leverage that building energy. We can perfect things, create stability, take action. And then as we move on into fall, the sun moves into Libra, which is where we're heading here shortly. This is one of my favorite seasons between Virgo and Libra. This is where we can really look back at what we have created, where we have been, and we can have some objectivity. We can take our wins in. We can harvest. Fall, time to harvest. We've got the harvest moon coming up. Time to harvest our accomplishments and to see where we want to go moving forward. So as we take stock, as we gather our fruits of our labor, then we move into the winter solstice and we can let go. We can prepare for a new cycle. Whatever didn't work, whatever didn't serve, we can go inward. We take this time for renewal. The fields fallow, right? We don't continually plant. And other things that can be planted in different seasons, but this harvesting cycle, planting, harvesting, resting, regenerating, is so powerful. And if you can look at your business in this way and think about your own energy, I always thought it was a little crazy to be pushing in the middle of winter with New Year, New You. It is a time to go in and to ask questions, but it is not necessarily, our energy is not in a place where we are going to be able to have it sustained. So it makes more sense to go inward, renew, plan, and then move forward in the spring. Let me drop this into a little bit of a bigger cycle and show what this might look like. I love this visual. And you can see the planting of the seeds as we, move forward in the different seasons. And astrologically, we can see this gentle flow, this gentle growth and rebirth as we move this way from seed to seedling to flower to germinating it, right? To more growth, to fruits, to gathering the fruits of our labor. And then as things are let go of, and then we rest, and then we come back again and grab the seeds from the past. So when our ancestors knew this, they worked in cycles, they followed the seasons, they followed the cycles of the sun and the moon. They used that as their guide. They knew when the seasons were, and they knew the various cycles. So if we look at just the sun cycle, it is a beautiful ebb and flow as well. Each of these containers, each of these astrological cycles gives us an opportunity to move through this ebb and flow. And in my next video, we'll talk more about how the macro and micro cycles that you can work with in your life and in your business in order to honor this cycle, honor your energy, and to really create a beautiful balance of moving things forward and bringing that energy in and out, forward and back for yourself. So, in a bit of a recap here, the opportunity is for you to lean into a flow. And I believe that using cycles is a really, really powerful way to take the natural rhythms, the natural flows that we're experiencing, and utilize them as a guide, utilize them for inspiration, utilize them for helping you to create a map, a roadmap for yourself and your business. It takes the mind out of it. It allows us to really deepen into our own intuitive knowing. You can feel the energy, right? You can feel the excitement of spring. We can feel that we've just come off summer and now we are moving into the fall and we're ready to get down to business. And that is Virgo season that we're stepping into. So working with the energies helps to really create a flow and keep us out of exhaustion, overwhelm, and that cycle of potential burnout. Because if you're burnt out and you're overwhelmed, then you're not able to serve your clients at the highest level and you're not taking care of you. So I would love to know, do you work with cycles at all in your business? If so, drop a note below, send me a message. I would love to know how you utilize them, how it's working for you. If you are more curious about cycles, let me know that as well, what kind of questions I can answer for you. I'm going to come back in the next video in the next day or so, and I'll be sharing more specifically how you can really, truly work with cycles in your business in a really practical and tactical way and still maintain structure in service of inspiration, which is really a theme of Virgo that we're stepping into currently. All right, my friends, wonderful to be with you here today and honoring you and the work you do in the world. And remember that all it takes is a little bit of heart power. I'll see you next time.